Huh. Well, nobody else texted me, so guessing you're the only person that jumped on today, which is not a shocker. So today we are talking about consistency over intensity, right? Stopping sprint and crash cycles, setting realistic daily expectations, and what long-term compounding efforts can mean for results. And I wanted to start the day off with, my thoughts were, you know, some mornings your heart feels heavy, before your feet even hit the floor, sick, whether you've been sick or run down. Hey, it's, frozen outside, it's cold. And honestly, it feels like life is moving slower than your goals. And in those moments, you start questioning everything, right? The plan, the pace, even the dream. You want to do nothing but stay in bed because rest feels safer than effort. But here's the truth most people miss. Those are the exact moments when sprinting will break you and consistency will save you. Because on those days, it's not about pushing harder. It's not about forcing momentum. It's about showing up softly, steadily, and intentionally, and letting small actions do the heavy lifting. Because burnout doesn't build business, consistency does. And today we're going to talk about how to stop sprinting and start compounding. So, Chris, do you ever feel like you can have a habit like that, or does it ever happen in your world?
Well, I told you about my seasonal depression, so
Hmm.
that definitely makes it harder sometimes to get out of bed. But I was talking to Ashley, and she was just like, "Well," because I was laying in bed even though I was tired, and I was still lead genning. So
Hmm.
sometimes you don't have to like get up and be ready. You just gotta you could do the work from wherever it is that you're at.
Hmm.
So I was lead genning from bed. I was texting people, I was following up, reviewing emails, but I was still in bed. So.
Hmm. That's good. That's a good. I mean, right? And have you ever burned out before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and it's hard, right? And so it's knowing that, yeah, you can't always, you have to pace yourself, especially in this business, where so much, I mean, anything in life, but in this business, there's a lot of up and down. It's hard to emotionally regulate when there is so much. One day you're on a high, and I tell a story like my best year in real estate. Um, I closed. Well, last year might have been my best year, but prior to that, right, in my first 3 years in real estate, first 5 years, in my best year, um, I did something. I think it was like 5 or 7 deals in 1 month. I think it was 5 deals. And then I went like 4 months without a closing. So that kind of emotional up and down is really tough because, when you went from this, you know, I guess, top producer, whatever you want to say, um, to not closing anything, it's hard emotionally. But that's um, that's the nature of the beast, and you're preparing for that. It does happen, and we can do things to hedge against that, and again, like consistent, and that's where consistency pays off. And I was actually at the time I was consistently doing the work. Is just that's what happened in my business. That's what happened over these last few months. There wasn't as many closings because of the time of year. People less people shopping. Um, so what have you burned out before? Have you,
I think
doing?
my first burnout was when I first got into the office and I started real estate. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was so burned out because there was a lack of direction from the leadership at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand to an extent you have to figure it out, but there was like no basis or foundation for me to figure it out. So I was taking all these classes because I thought I had to get the education out of the way and then figuring out everything else. I was just so tired because there was like lack of support. But things have gotten better now, which I think is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that could have been avoided if I would have joined like the right brokerage, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Um, so, do you kind of have a thought on a pace that you can, when it comes to the work, that you can manage and continue and sustain for, you know, 26 weeks, a year for the long run? Are you feeling better about a pace to help prevent burnout, or an action plan to help prevent burnout?
Yeah, honestly, one thing that has really been helpful is Ben's schedule.
Hmm.
Like when I feel like because then you have moments where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you have the little high moments where you're like, I'm gonna do all this work and get it done, and you feel motivated. But in those times, I have to remind myself, like, stick to the schedule, follow the schedule, consistency over, you know, a moment of rush so that like do something little every day because then you won't get burned out. So by sticking to the schedule, like it's been really helpful and I'm super grateful for that schedule because like I said, it's the only thing that's been preventing my burnout.
Hmm. Yeah, and I can absolutely speak to the importance of um, consistency over time when it comes to building business. I know that I have been incredibly consistent when it came to just the lead gen and consistently adding contacts to my database and just, again, doing a little bit of work. Today was, for instance, incredibly hard working out. And it wasn't a hard workout. It was, by all accounts, a terrible workout for me. Um, and I got a little bit done. So I'm happy with that. And that's just to work. Again, there's obviously personal, professional, but we can apply that mindset to multiple areas in our life, not just the professional. Um, you know, so um, I kind of like lost my train of thought there 'cause I'm a little bit in a fog, but yeah, like I mean, again, the consistency over time with building my business, adding contacts to my database, staying focused on the long run, it pays off. Uh, you know, when you believe in the fact that, hey, other people have done it before you have, and that's where I kind of stayed focused when it came to building business. So, what habits do you think deserve protection?
Like time blocking in your schedule because that prevents a burnout.
Hmm. How good are you at? How would you rate yourself about protecting those habits?
Honestly, I've been getting like really like way much better at it. Um like because like I was like, a couple weeks ago, like when my seasonal depression was really just kicking my butt, I was just reminding myself like stick to the schedule, and that honestly like got me through it.
Hmm.
Um, so I've definitely been at a better place with the consistency of the schedule. Sometimes, your personal life will get in the way, but like, that's life. But sticking to the schedule has been really helpful, and I've been doing a really good job at it actually. I'm proud of my efforts.
Nice. Okay. Good. Good. So, what do you have any thoughts based on kind of what we're talking about today, and when it comes to consistency over intensity, or any
Yeah.
any open forum questions you want to cover?
Don't really have any open forum questions. But sticking to a schedule is something that like is really important. And the schedule that he has set up, it works. Like doing the 9 to 12, like where it's just like you're lead genning or on the phone or something like that. and then the afternoon, like you're outside doing the lead gen, like it creates that balance to where even if you're someone that has a hard time focusing, like it creates that variety for you to be able to like follow it. And no matter
Hmm.
what else is going on, just remember to stick to the schedule. And let's say it's the afternoon and you want to go ahead and do some lead genning on the phone, don't do it. Just go outside, just go ahead and do it, you know? So
Hmm.
stick to your schedule, time block. That will help build momentum over time to where you do it
Yeah.
on autopilot, especially for someone who's in the service industry. Like I've been in the service industry for a while, and like schedules are kind of not a thing in the sense of like you just go in, you clock out, but your day to day actions and just it's just always different, and you know you're kind of just working on the fly, meeting new people, all that. There's a lack of structure in that.
Hmm.
So I really appreciate the schedule that we have at the office for that reason. Um, so yeah, consistency over intensity. So stick to the schedule.
Awesome. Yeah. And I guess then, and in closing, here's what I hope you can remember today when it ends. You don't have to feel strong to be consistent. You don't have to feel motivated to move forward. You don't even have to feel hopeful. You just have to take the next small step and protect it tomorrow. Compounding isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It doesn't care about the weather, the market, your mood. It only cares that you show up again and again and again. So if today feels heavy, let it be slow, but let it count. Let today be one brick on a wall you're building quietly. Because 6 months from now, you won't remember how hard today felt. You remember that you kept going. And that's how real businesses are built.
I think that's a beautiful sentiment, but honestly, all the times where things were hard and I pushed through, I remember every single hard moment. And the fact that I got through it and remembering how hard it was motivated me to keep going, and it motivates me today, to this day. So, but I appreciate you sharing that.
Cool. All right, good. All right. Well, I'll see you in a bit.
Cool beans.